Hi, this is Dana, and on this channel I speak about spiritual warfare. Um, in this video, God has guided me to talk about free will, basically. For some reason, in very recent past, God changed the strategy with me, and although normally I would take time to think of a topic and sort of prepare some main points to make, now I see that at least in the last few days and weeks, God is just giving me one word and He says, just now, do it, make a video now. So He doesn't give me time to think about it, which makes it more difficult for me to understand exactly what's the message He wants me to convey. Anyhow, the point is, He wanted me to talk about free will. And one of the main points that seem to me clear that he wants to make in this is that, of course, everybody has free will. God will give free will choices to everyone. However, there is an overall strategy, because many times in my spiritual evolution, my spiritual path, particularly when we have started conscious spiritual fighting together, me and God, I asked Him, when He would ask me to do certain things, I said, why you make me do this? If you allow free will choice, why don't you let this couple to be together? Why don't you let this one to do this? And what I learned in my spiritual fighting and in my work with God is that He will give you free will choice. Even if I said I don't want to do something that He was asking me to do, for different reasons, God will give me the free will choice not to do it. But then He will allow for circumstances to get so bad that in the end I will end up doing what He initially asked me anyway, because it would become basically a matter of survival. In terms of energy awareness, I mean, the attacks would intensify so much that I couldn't survive energetically if I wouldn't follow Him, basically. So it is a free will choice, but I would say not so much, because there is, and I asked Him repeatedly, why you do this to me? Why you do this to me? You allow people to do harm to other people out of their free will choice. I want to be out of here, for example, at this point in time. So I kept asking Him since December, I want to leave today, if possible, yesterday. I want to leave, I want to go. And God said, you need to be part of the process of justice making, because I make justice for a purpose, not only to make justice for you, but also to reorganize the rest of the setting, namely to teach lessons to others. We need others to learn something from what happened as well. Even if, for example, they go through punishment, they need to learn the lesson. Otherwise, this will be repeated after you leave here. So we need to make certain. So He has His own agenda, basically, with each and every one individual. And then I could watch Him, which is very, very frustrating to me, how He takes His time with each and every individual to see, okay, this one learned the lesson, now let's test him. If we give him an opportunity, will he make a different choice, or will he make the same karmic choice? And I'm like, I don't have patience to wait for you to test everyone so many times. And but this is I guess me and you, my audience, are learning this together. Namely that there is a free will choice. However, there is a grand, higher perspective strategy. There are strategies which were agreed on, and contracts, spiritual contracts, which were signed before taking on the incarnation. And there is a purpose for everything. So God will allow you to make choices, basically. This is what I have seen. God would allow individuals He will help them try to give them support so they will see the correct choice. If they still insist on making karmic choices, bad choices, he will allow them, but he will transform. It doesn't mean that he will allow them to do whatever. It really doesn't. Even if they choose to worship other forces or Satan or whatever, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really mean that you got rid of God and now you can do whatever you want. He's still gonna watch. He's gonna make sure to transform that bad choice into a lesson, and he's gonna allow that lesson to become more and more painful until you understand and until you, by your own free will, choose differently. This is very tricky, but I've seen him doing it, and it's not something that I enjoy, actually, personally, because on my side, I finished closing up karmic cycles with everyone. I have a new beginning, and I want to move on. And if possible, I want everyone out of my life, because I just don't want to go through this. But for example, I'll give you another example. I was on my spiritual journey, and I was in Latin America and Chile, and there were a number of bondages which God wanted me to break there. And keep in mind that many of those people were people whom I've never met in my life in this incarnation, right? Some of them I did meet before. This is why I went to Chile. But I was supposed to break bondages with each and every one of them. But some of those individuals I never met. And still God would show me, this is the bondage you must break. And he would show me from previous lifetimes, whoever from my ancestral line had a bondage created upon them by that individual, how it looked, and in one case, I'll give you just one example. I will not go into details, although I was there 3 months, I broke a lot of bondages. But in one case specifically, there was a woman, very old woman, whom I never met, of course, and he showed me that woman basically was a guardian in a Nazi camp prison. And that woman created a bondage on a woman from my lineage for whom I was breaking bondage now. So who's who I was embodying at that particular time. So God created an embodiment on me at that particular time so I can break that bondage on my lineage. And basically what this old woman did was poison her while she was locked up in that concentration camp. She lied on this woman saying that she's a Jew. That woman from my lineage was not even a Jew. And they ganged up against her, a few, and they made fake declarations that she's a Jew and she should be locked up and tortured and all sorts of things. Anyhow, she tortured her during night. She would try to kill her, to strangle her, to all sorts of things, very bad things that this woman has done to her, one of the things that that woman said about the one from my lineage was that she's crazy, and this is why we are torturing her this way. She's crazy because she's crazy, And I asked God and said, what do you want me to do? Applied to my level of understanding and to my 3D existence. What exactly you want me to do? And basically God said, you just deliver karma, you don't do anything. You just sit there. You deliver karma. And you claim justice, judgment, and punishment against her. And basically I said, okay, how long I need to stay in this? Because it was huge darkness. I mean, ever since I entered that household, I said there's huge darkness. I could barely breathe in that house. And basically God said, this is the darkness she created against our lineage, against the woman for whom you're breaking bondage from your own lineage. So this is the kind of darkness she has sent, of death, mental illness, of poisoning, of much darkness, basically, in many ways. I'm not going to enter into all details. And this is basically what happens, and this is maybe useful to those who are in karmic situations and behave as a karmic. God said, because she created all this darkness against this woman from our lineage, all the darkness she created is following her. So once you create a darkness, that darkness will reside in your energetic space, in your energetic field, will also harm the other one, but it will also harm you. So I said, okay, and essentially God said, you must stay there until everything she created against our lineage is being returned to her, and karma is delivered. This way we break the bondage. Then some darkness from our lineage is being transmuted, and this will help everyone from our lineage, including you, because darkness which is being sent on the lineage, then it impacts on everyone that comes from that lineage. So any one member of the lineage breaking a bondage helps everyone else from the lineage, because that darkness is lifted. So then they can breathe, they can get divine energy, they can start raising their awareness, and so on. So he forced me to stay there. And I asked him, okay, what do you want me to, how long to stay here? And he said, until she will go crazy, because this is the argument she used when she made all those fake accusations, and how she justified all the harm she has done against this other woman from our lineage. And I didn't interact with that woman at all, thank God. So he didn't ask me to say anything to her. She was not speaking English, I was not speaking Spanish. We were not even able to communicate. That was fine. But he didn't ask me to do anything. He said just to stay. Just stay there and claim justice, judgment, and punishment. That's all. The rest, all of us, your ancestors from lineage, are going to accomplish this. You don't really need to do something. Just stay alive, follow our guidance so you can stay alive, and deliver the karma. The rest, we are working on that. It's been a horrible experience. I cannot explain how painful that energy was. And I stayed there for like 3 months almost. In the end, I swear, she really literally was crazy. Actually, people from hospital came to check on her. She was not recognizing anyone. I don't know what other symptoms she had, because I was not staying with her in the room. But literally, she went crazy. And that's when God moved me. He said, now you broke the bondage. There was certain other steps that were taken. Doesn't really matter now for you, the point I'm making here. What I'm saying is that when that was accomplished, it was God said, now you can go. And so God, and basically I had no way to go at that point in time. So God created a circumstance in such a way so I can leave. But it was really painful to stay there. And I found it deeply unfair at the time. Actually, I told God, I said, this is not normal that you torture me this way just so you can punish her. Just fucking punish her. I don't understand why I have to stay here in these attacks. And to make it even more clear, I will say the following. When I arrived in Chile on the airport, I was with Lucky, my dog, looking for my luggage. And before I got my luggage, God said to me, you have 3 months. So what I mean to say from this is for everybody to understand that this all, for example, this example that I'm giving now was all planned. Everything was planned. God knew how long it will take for that woman to go crazy and the bondage to be broken so I can go. When I stepped foot on Chilean soil, he knew how long it will take. Because that's what he said. He said 3 months. But then he never mentioned that again. But in the day when he said, now the bondage is broken, you can go, I counted, I looked back, because this is why I told you to make journaling and take notes when you do spiritual fighting. I looked back and I said, wow, it's literally 3 months since I arrived. And this is what he said. He said, after 3 months, I can go. He didn't say anything. He said just 3 months, that's all. I didn't even know what he meant by 3 months. So the reason why I'm giving you just this information, bits and parts of my experience, is that I'm not giving you the whole picture because it's not of interest to you. Only for my lineage it matters. But what I mean to show you is that he had everything planned. All the while, in all this time, I had free will to make whatever choices I wanted, you know. But he made sure that whatever free will choices I make will keep me in the same line of breaking bondage, right? So you do have free will. Then I'm saying this for everyone who disregards the divine guidance, those who decide to work with darkness, because to my mind, these individuals are just complicating all our lives. And to me, it's really frustrating to see some stupid individuals who don't know what they want on this earth. They refuse to work with God to receive divine guidance. Why the fuck you came here? And they refuse to do the right thing, the reason for what you came here for. And they just make everything more complicated for all of us, even for those of us who are doing the right thing and following divine justice. Because, for example, now I could have been long ago in my new beginning. I'm just wasting time because of stupid karmics who insist on repeating the same things, and because God really wants to teach them lessons, and because God really wants to see which one of them will change his mind, and all this freaky shit. Really, people, get it together and understand. One way or another, you're going to end up doing what you came here for. Whatever other choices you make, God will make sure that those will be regretted deeply by you. Because this will become lessons. And you will regret each and every single choice you made against God, and against divine light, and against divine being. And because I am pretty sure there is no fucking single individual that doesn't know it's wrong to do black magic on someone. I am pretty sure these are mature people. You freaking know it's not good to steal from somebody else. It's not like you have confusion in your mind if it's right or wrong. You just think you can get away. That's all. But otherwise, there is no freaking individual, regardless what kind of secret cult society are in, and whatever fucking stupid practices they taught you to do, you know that's wrong. You know this. You know it's wrong. But you insist on doing it, hoping you're not gonna get caught. The problem is, what you don't understand is that you might not get caught in 3D by some individuals, but God will make sure that he will expose you in order to force you to give that up, in order to make divine justice and to return the balance and to balance the scales. So I'm telling you, you must understand this. Really, you must understand this. We are now in a special phase of the ascension. At the end of last year, a situational karmic cycle closed. I explained what a situational karmic cycle means. It means something very complex, situational. That means it concerns the entire world. It's huge. It's very big. So, for this reason, we are entering now in a totally new phase of the ascension. Now, the ascension is being delayed a lot because of some individuals. Or let me say this: the ascension, God is making a sign to me. It hasn't been delayed. No. The energetic upgrades of the ascensions took place anyhow, as they were programmed. Some of us benefited of those because we chose to stay with God and do the right thing. So we elevated, of course. However, some other individuals chose to do wrong and to go with the darkness and to attack us who stayed in light. This situational karmic cycle closure at the end of last year is meant to balance the scale, okay? To make justice. What God foreseen for this phase to happen, I already wrote in spring 2019, namely a certain resurrection process of the entire earth. And that means, as I wrote there are 5 vortexes. There are 5 vortexes on the entire earth, where 5 specific couples of twin flames must go at the same time, at exactly the same time. All of this must be simultaneous and must transmute darkness simultaneously. So the darkness from the earth would be lifted. Now God is saying to me that at this point in time, it's not 5 anymore. They created more vortexes. Because these are vortexes of darkness, which were created with your stupid satanic rituals and secret societies of darkness and all of these imbeciles with Scientology and all other satanic works. Anyhow, that was the plan. It didn't happen. This was supposed to happen before the situational karmic cycle at the end of last year. Yeah, in order for some of these stupid idiots who became karmic to have enough time to do the right thing, so when they reach the situational karmic cycle in 2021, they would still have time to do redemption, so we all catch up and sort of have a similar sort of balance, right, overall. Now this didn't happen. This has to happen. Essentially, this is what is happening, and God is in the process of redesigning or reorganizing the teams who are supposed to do what, depending on whatever who is doing. So he's, as I said in the previous video, God is choosing now from the divine couples who left and went with the darkness is going into redemption, and who left, who stayed in light, will get a different pair, basically, in order for this to carry on. The process will move on no matter what you do. The only question is if you succeed to create more problems for the process and for yourself, or are you on board and you try to understand the process so you can take advantage of the opportunities created. The energetic upgrades can be an opportunity because it will help you elevate, or it can become a problem if you choose to work with the darkness, because you're going to feel the darkness much stronger. Okay, the message was from the very beginning about free will, and namely to put this in perspective, because many people have a wrong understanding of free will. Choice with free will, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to end up to decide on that matter what to happen. You just make a decision for yourself how to react to a circumstance. God will remove you from that circumstance and will bring somebody else. But things will move on the way God wants them to. It's just a matter, your choices define only where you're going to be positioned in this picture. And of course, it will impact on people around you. It will impact on people around you because you will keep sending darkness, as I surprisingly observe that most of the karmics continue to do exactly the same thing. They didn't change at all. I don't understand this. They really didn't change at all. They continue to do the exact same attacks. They continue to find new alliances, same alliances, recycled, changed, just to make sure that they continue to do the harm, or they continue to hide the harm they've done, and if possible to influence those who actually succeeded to stay in light, to erase their memory about what was done, to change their feelings by spells, incantations, and black magic and sorcery, to convince them that forgiveness should be given, to convince them that it wasn't so bad when they destroyed them, to all sorts of stupid, imbecile stuff. You must understand that the divine justice is done by the divine realm. They see this. No matter what you succeed on doing on others, you're just prolonging a karma, which at the end of the day, it is your karma too. So anyhow, this to me seems really, really stupid. This is why I don't get sometimes why God takes so much time with these creepy individuals who keep attacking us, and He doesn't just end their interference. In my mind, I think they should be isolated in some place to stay among themselves, because this is the only way that they can see themselves as they are. If they look at each other instead of all turning around and looking at us and focusing on us, how to destroy us. But the last point that I want to make in this is that, of course, you have free will to choose, even in this advanced phase, to choose to continue to do harm. But the point is, you're just adding to your karma while you're doing harm to others. So really, I don't understand how somebody knows. Okay, so I can understand that initially, maybe you thought God won't see you. Okay, now, at this point in time, it's clear for all of you that you know God saw you, because most of you already went through punishment to some extent, right? So you know He's seeing you. You already know by now there are consequences and you get punished, but you still insist on doing it. So at this point in time, really, I'm like, maybe you have some disability that you don't grasp this information. Why would you continue doing it if you see clearly that you have been punished for this, and that somebody saw you? Even if you thought you fooled everyone, still God saw you, still God punished you. So why would you continue to do the same thing? It's beyond me. But again, the message for this video was free will indeed exists, but there is a divine plan. You came here sent by the divine realm, where you requested to come, and you requested to come for a specific purpose. Now, what you're doing as a karmic has nothing to do with the reason why you came here for. You actually fight against what you came here to do. So know that free will choice is given. You can choose to do that. However, God will work tirelessly to make sure that each and every single bad choice you make transforms into a lesson. And the more you insist on it, the more dramatic and painful the lesson will be. Unfortunately, we have to be part of this too, and witness your stupid idiot decisions, and stay in the same type of environment full of darkness because of you. So try to grasp this lesson and understand this is for everyone, and this is also a warning for those in staying in light, that surely free will choice exists, But it is important as you plan something to always check with the divine realm, with your ancestral line, and with God, because there is a overarching divine plan, and ideally our free will choices for ourselves will match God's plan in such a way so we can actually move this thing forward, and transmute all this stupid darkness created by all these stupid idiots.